Hi there, and welcome to this final video of the Composer's Toolkit. In this video, I would like to talk about my experience with some of the more common mistakes and misunderstandings about the accordion. Most of these are from my experience of working with composers, so I collected them, and I really wanted to give you composers a heads up on writing for the instrument. One of the first things to remember, as I've mentioned in one of the previous videos, is that the dynamics are to be thought of as for both keyboards at the same time, because we have only one bellows. Another aspect is, for example, I probably mentioned this in another video, is that a combination of 2 or 3 special, let's call them extended techniques, doesn't necessarily work on the accordion, mainly because, for example, if you were to combine something like glissando non temperato or pitch bending with a bellows shake, thinking of a cello or a double bass or a violin, viola, like the string instruments, sounds really great on those instruments while you're moving slowly downwards. On the accordion, that will not work. Why? Because we have 2 sets of reeds for each note, one on the opening of the bellows and one on the closing. So if I'm opening the bellows on a note that I'm bending and I'm closing for the bellows shake, the other reed will need to start bending, so the effect completely disappears in that case. Another thing to remember is when you're writing very long phrases on legato, for example, it's important to remember that the bellows is not infinite. At some point, a change will need to occur in the bellows. So keep a track of how long these phrases are. Another thing that many composers seem to like is combining chords or notes with the air button. And sometimes it's possible to hear it, but many times it's not, especially if there are very low pitches. So if I'm playing and then I am playing the air button, but you will not hear it. But if I'm playing, now that's possible to hear, especially if it's very soft and the sounds are on a piano or a pianissimo. That's possible and perfectly doable. The pitch bending is better heard. We covered this in the video on pitch bending, but just as a reminder, it's better heard with one note, and the lower the note gets, the better it's heard. It's also possible to do it with 2 or 3 notes, but it's almost impossible to control both of the notes going downwards at the same time or coming upwards. Another thing to remember, we mentioned this on pitch bending, is that the pitch bending is mainly done downwards. You can create an illusion of glissando upwards, but at that point you will have to have a note bent already when the accordion is starting to play it, and it requires time, and it requires a good control of the instrument. So then you would be pushing the button or the key all the way down, and you will bring the note to its normal pitch. Another thing to remember and to consider is that the lower notes, the lower pitches on the accordion sound much louder, sound more than the upper ones, the higher ones. The reason behind that is the different lengths of the reeds. So the lower ones have thicker and longer reeds, which require less air. The other ones require a bit more air to start vibrating. I'm pulling the bellows at the same pressure. Left hand you can hear it, right hand almost not. Another thing I feel like reminding composers writing for the accordion because of all of these techniques, and it's so new and it's so interesting maybe to you composers that it might be overwhelming and you might really want to include all of the techniques in one piece, but just see them as colors and as something that adds value, adds something to the piece, and it should be only techniques. Also because to you they might seem new, but an accordionist who has performed a lot of contemporary music basically has seen all of them or most of them, and then it becomes kind of something that they already have done before. So don't forget that the accordion can also sound normal, it can also play melodies, it can also play normal C major chords, and be creative and open-minded. Trust your accordionists, ask them to try things out if in doubt. If you have any questions at all, you can contact me. Here's my website. You can contact me also by email, and feel free to reach out if you have any question. I wanted to thank you for watching this series. I really hope it added value to what you knew about the instrument. I really hope that you also discovered something new for yourselves. And I really hope that I will continue extending this series of videos, because that will mean that I'm also learning something new. Thank you again for your attention. This was the Composer's Toolkit, and feel free to rewatch any of the other videos on the techniques and topics that we talked about. Thank you for your attention.